The Walking Dead on AMC, Dead Rising 1, Dead Rising 2, Dead Rising 3, Dead Island Riptide, Dead Island Epidemic, Zombieland, World War Z, Shaun of the Dead. Hey YouTube, GeckoGuy here, coming at you with another interesting new theory. I believe the zombie apocalypse is not plausible. But GeckoGuy, why not just say possible? Plausible is an adjective relating to an argument or a statement seeming reasonable or probable. So, for example, I am arguing that the zombie apocalypse will not happen, and if it would be over almost immediately. So, what are zombies? Zombies, as we may already know, are a once living person capable of speech and motor skills who died or got bitten and came back to life, is now thirsty for human flesh. Like my ex-girlfriends are now thirsty for my wallet. I mean, what? How can you explain that naked man biting off the face of the other guy? Bath salts. When high on drugs, you generally don't feel pain. Don't ask me how I know this. Winning! That's why it took so many bullets to bring him down. So, let's get to starting on talking about viruses and bacteria. What is the difference between a virus and a bacteria? A virus is not living, and bacteria are living. So, in a virus, there are no ribosomes. Not living, there are no cells since it is not living. RNA or DNA or RNA are enclosed inside a coat of protein. There's no cell wall, it's just covered by protein. It cannot be vaccinated because you can only vaccinate living things. There's no nucleus, and there's some enzymes, and it's got a form of systemic infection, and all viruses are harmful. Reproduces by infecting a host cell and making copies that destroy the host cell after the new virus is broken free of the host cell. Bacteria, there are ribosomes present. It is a living organism, unicellular, meaning it has one cell. DNA or RNA are floating freely inside of cytoplasm. You can treat it by antibiotics because it is living. You can treat it because it's living. There are enzymes, no nucleus, and it's got a localized means of infection. It can be beneficial. If you eat a yogurt that is bacteria you are putting into your body, that is also beneficial to your digestive system. And it reproduces asexually, so it branches off and makes copies of itself. So if it was a virus that made the zombies, it would have to start with one person out of the 7 billion people and rising population. But where and how? One may argue that it would start in an area of little food, dirty water, and a high mortality rate. Keep in mind that viruses need a new host in order to reproduce. Think of your body as a giant cell. That zombie-infested cell needs to bite another non-infested cell to create a new zombie cell. But if that zombie is killed right at the start, boom, there's no apocalypse. Burn the dead body and make it seem like it never happened and eradicate it. So, let's see. What happens to a person after they die? Your heart stops beating, and that blood that was pumping through your heart fills up your body with small pools of blood. Your blood is no longer being oxygenated, so there's no oxygen going to the red blood cell. Rigor mortis, or the stiffening of the muscles, sets in and goes away after 72 hours. So your zombie friend might not be able to walk if he or she is stiffer than a board. So if the zombies did break out, what would we do in a time of crisis? Riot. That's what we would do. We would all start to shoot and loot. We've seen it all in the zombie movies and the zombie games. The stores that would be robbed first would be grocery stores, pharmacies, and gun stores. We have all heard and seen the zombie movies where you have to eat nothing but animals that you killed and non-perishable food items. You have to go to pharmacies for drugs, your basic ibuprofen, cold and flu, bandages, gauze, and other painkillers. Gun stores and outdoorsman stores would go next because you need ammunition to fight them off, as well as knives and machetes to fend them off, or other intimidating non-infected humans. What do all these have in common? Expiration dates. Canned goods are okay for 18 to 22 months on average. Boxed goods are okay for 8 months, like cereal and pasta. Twinkies and chocolate bars never go bad because they don't have an expiration date. Look on the back, I would kid you not. And same with soda goes bad after like a couple of months and becomes that stale, sour sort of a deal. And you can also use the bottle as like water. Obviously, water doesn't go bad. You just got to make sure to boil it. Medication doesn't really expire, it just loses its potency. So if you have a headache and you normally take 2 Advil, it may take 4 to 5 Advil. Or ammunition can expire if you store it improperly, causing misfires, duds, or self-harm. So not good if you're trying to fend yourself off of a horde of zombies. Gasoline will go bad after a while. It can make the car fire up roughly, not run smoothly, or not start at all. After a while, the fuel from gas stations will be looted, and you'll have to siphon out a nearby car. So eventually, you will have to all travel on foot and or bicycles. So who would survive in this time of crisis? The elderly would be the first to go. Why? Because they lack mobility, and many have strong medications that are prescribed to them, and if there's no doctors or pharmacists, how are they going to get their medicine? Small children and infants will perish because, you know, they can't really protect themselves, they can't really fight off a zombie. Pregnant women would probably perish because there's no medical practices to assist in birth. Plus, infants attract zombies. Ages 12 to 50 would more likely survive because they are more mobile and they have the strength to fend off zombies. Where would you go if zombies broke out? Large cities? Nope. Too densely populated with zombies. There's plenty of supplies that you can loot, but you can be cornered easily if you don't know the ins and outs of that particular city. What about a large building? Nope. Once again, there's only one way to go but up. So if you're on the rooftop, you might be okay for a couple of minutes, but you'll have nowhere to go. Either jump off and die or die by zombies. What about a safe haven? Was there any safe places to go? Well, if you're in the United States, my theory is if you go to Mammoth Cave in Kentucky, it's always 50-something degrees in there, and it's probably like one of the largest caves in the world. I think it is the largest cave in the world. And even today, they're still discovering new parts, and they don't know how long it goes. So if you manage to seize off Mammoth Cave, you can take other people into your group. You can barricade the entrance and create several blockage points. And, you know, you can have a group that can go gather supplies, one for gas, one for food, one for wood and other things. See if you can get some plants growing. Another place would be a remote island, maybe a Hawaiian island. It probably wouldn't hit Hawaii as fast. Hopefully the Hawaiian Islands don't get hit. Soil over there is lush. You can plant crops year-round. Because the soil is lush with the volcanic stuff, and then you can raise animals for livestock. And then all you really need is a pilot who can fly a plane, assuming that you can get to an airport with a decent plane and take off, or somebody who's good with a boat with coordinates. So, in conclusion, when a body dies, they deteriorate and they start to break down from within. The virus or bacteria or manufactured virus reanimates the body and brings it back to life as a zombie. But how can it see? It probably couldn't. Tissues decompose rather quickly, so they may not have any vision, or if they do, it is probably just left to shadows. Same with, like, if you're trying to hear, it's probably very impaired. Their nervous system would probably be impaired, and once they come back to life, it's similar to a stroke. Like I said, tissues would go first, so the optic nerve would probably be mostly deteriorated, and yeah. But what about their motor function? They'd probably be like a hobbling, wobbling mess. They'd probably be similar to mental retardation. Take in consideration of rigor mortis. They'd basically be like a standing vegetable or sitting just in there. And, you know, they're not technically dead because they're breathing, so there needs to be a cellular respiration on a molecular level. Remember when I said that the body fills with pools of blood? If they are living, obviously their heart and other organs are functioning, but what are they pumping through their blood? It's definitely not good blood. It's probably like sludge. And you know, what about food or water? Humans can't go more than 3 weeks without food and 3 days without water. Zombies and zombies can't go that long either. If they don't have food or water in their system, they'll die. Since there's a gravity exerting a force on the decomposing zombie, you know, they may crumble under their own mass. So in conclusion, it's all just propaganda to invoke fear onto you. I don't think a zombie apocalypse is quite possible. If it was, it'd be very similar to Resident Evil, where it's like a mutation in the body versus dying and coming back to life. So if you found this theory interesting, be sure to leave a comment in the comment section below. What would be your go-to place in a zombie apocalypse? What would be your weapon of choice? And, you know, be sure to always hit that subscribe button and destroy that like button. We'll see you again. Thanks for watching, guys.